It goes without saying that the student experience begins in the very traditional settings of the classrooms and the laboratories. But for a world-class education, an education envisioned really by the Land Grant Act 150 years ago, it really requires more than that. And Michigan State has been a leader over very many years in the way in which we utilize the experiences outside the classroom to reinforce the highest standards of learning and making sure our students are competitive with those graduates of the world's most elite institutions. Michigan State has the great advantage of having 90% of its freshmen living in the residence halls. This is an extraordinary way to begin an introduction to college life from a social perspective as well as an academic perspective. This year we began an experiment in Hubbard Hall called the Neighborhood Initiative. It's a way of integrating academic support, social support with the living learning experiences so that students have the best support at their fingertips in the residence halls. A key part of that is the Math Support Center that's doing a lot of work to assure that our students are succeeding at the highest level in mathematics. There's also a strong emphasis on the Writing Center to assure that our students as freshmen move beyond the kind of language that's a part of technology and text and Facebook and into a more formal writing style appropriate for their academic pursuits. So when this concept is fully implemented, every student who lives in the residence halls will have the opportunity to be part of a neighborhood that they help define. And then when they choose to leave the residence halls and live in a different part of East Lansing in a different environment, they're still a part of that neighborhood and can come back for food, for fellowship, and for support, in addition to having access to the full resources of the university. We have a variety of programs that are at the hall level where students have floors and activities focusing on business as well as science and language floors, a whole range of things that really encourage the student to interact differently in their living experience. As we thought about our academic programs and how we needed to use the residential experience differently, it's clear that the United States is not going to be producing the most engineers in the world. We simply have to produce the best engineers in the world. So we have a new program called Spartan Engineering, which really engages engineering students from their freshman year in interesting design activities, not only to learn about what it takes to be an engineer, but how engineers need to have an element of creativity, imagination that goes with all these technical skills in order to make a real difference. The program is in Wilson Hall, and the students are there doing a variety of design projects, including how to make a race car out of vegetables that maybe seem trivial, but moving on to very important projects that they can think about ideas that would be the basis for a new company. Michigan State University over the years has been known as a leader in connecting its very large residential system with living learning. Not simply in formal programs, but to think about the space and the work that students do in that space as an extension of their learning environment. An important metric for the success of universities is the 6-year graduation rate. For Michigan State, that's risen from 64% to 75% over the last 10 years. To put the 75% into context, not simply as an increase, but nationally there's something called the predicted graduation rate. That takes into account the entry characteristics of the student as well as their economic circumstances. For Michigan State, currently the predicted graduation rate is 62%. So we are graduating students at a much higher rate than you would predict based on our incoming students. We're really proud that Michigan State continues to lead the nation in the number of undergraduates studying abroad from public universities. For the 6th year in a row, that really is an important accomplishment, particularly given the economic struggles of our students and their families. That's just one aspect about how to be a global citizen and how to think about that global experience in ways that it rebounds positively to your local communities. Along with that, about 25% of our students participate in research projects, and that number is growing. And it will continue to grow as we are able to grow research dollars, but also get the kind of development support that we need to support those activities, particularly in the summer. It's a win-win for the faculty as well as the students because they need to be able to be the innovator, and that requires having the experience of not simply learning about something, but creating that new knowledge or applying it in new and different ways. In the concept of a citizen scholar, it's important for our students to learn how to use their knowledge, their talents, the benefits they've received from the world-class education at Michigan State University on behalf of others. And a vehicle for that is service learning. Over 16,000 students last year participated in service learning experiences, civic engagement, as an important part of their undergraduate experience. Another important aspect of the undergraduate experience is internships. It's not simply a tryout for a job. It's a way in which the students can demonstrate that they have the competencies necessary to move immediately into the workforce, but also it gives the students really great feedback about other things they need to learn in order to be able to pursue the careers that they're really interested in. These opportunities are growing dramatically, 67% in the last year, because our faculty and staff, our leaders across the university understand the importance of this type of work experience for our students. About half the students who graduate have an internship experience. This really underscores the importance that students are placing on this experience for the 21st century. It's important for our students, as we think about the 21st century, not to be simply a job taker, but a job creator. And that's where the value add and the prosperity will occur, we believe, in the 21st century. So this concept of an ecosystem of entrepreneurship, not simply for business students or engineering students, but for all of our students, so they can be excited about the ideas that might be the next innovation for the next big company that will be the model for the 21st century.